Should you house product or drop ship in 2024? Well, we've got some controversial topics in today's video. Grab a notepad, grab a pen, we're getting straight into it. Also, subscribe if you are not already subscribed because this channel is full of content, full of education. Actually, it's all education. There's no frill, there's no BS. We just talk about how to make money here and how you should be making money. So let's get into it. If you're really thinking about drop shipping, it isn't like a secret that margins are really low with drop shipping. Shipping is really expensive, the supply chain is really expensive, products are really expensive, people's time are more expensive, like everything is going up in cost. And people aren't willing to spend more money because people have less money than they've ever had, and it's just tough. COVID was really good for drop shipping because people were like spending. Like those stimulus checks, people were just spending money, and it really is not the case anymore. And all the costs have been inflated by that, but the consumer sentiment around spending isn't there. So drop shipping is harder than ever, but what drop shipping does offer is lower cost of entry. You don't have to shell out a bunch of money to house product and test goods and stuff like that. So the real question is housing product better than drop shipping in 2024? Well, unfortunately, the answer is very much yes. But it's hard to do that because it's very much true for people that are successful. They have a little bit of money to start, they can take more risk. For people that have a lower budget to start, are a little bit more risk adverse, drop shipping is probably easier, but you have to understand it's just going to be used for education. It's really hard to drop ship and scale and not be exposed to risk and make a lot of money until you have some experience in relationships and you're making your own products and stuff like that. My favorite example is I just actually watched another content creator that was talking about their Shopify store where they actually do print on demand, which for all intents and purposes is very similar to drop shipping. It's essentially drop shipping. And they got to their store to $50K a month in total revenue. I was blown away. I watched the video through and through. They were doing, I think at the end of the year, they did like $750,000 in total revenue, and they walked away with $18,000 in profit at the end of the day. That is wild to me. Honestly, that's a failure. If you're running a $750,000 total revenue business and you're taking away $18,500, you're exposed to so much risk. So much can go wrong. With those, if you house product, you probably can make $18,500 with $40,000 in sales because your margins are so high if you house product. So here, if you need to run the least amount of risk, test your products by drop shipping, but if they're successful, they need to be in-house immediately because your margins are higher. I can tell you, after years and years and years of doing this, drop shipping products, you're lucky if you get a 15 to 20% margin. That's really good. And we're talking if you correctly price your products. Stop listening to gurus when they aren't factoring in 10-15% for returns, 10-15% for running costs, 10-15% for expansion cost, all those things. They're giving you like a 50% margin, where in reality, when you're actually running the business, that 50% profit margin is probably 5% of what they're giving you. I've got videos on this channel about how to properly price products, but the reality is if you're really good at what you do, you'll get 15%, maybe 15% profit margins on a dropship product. If you're really damn good at what you do. It isn't that hard to get a 50% margin on a house product. But again, you're owning the risk of having the product. But the reality is stuff is cheap enough now that you can have a decent amount of it for not that much money. Sometimes those margins are even crazier. I have products where I'm at like an 80% margin, and these are commercially available products. I don't know why people don't compete with them. I've just picked the right product and I'm lucky. Knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't change, but it is what it is. So I know I've rambled a little bit here. I'm trying to give you guys some real world information, but the reality is the short answer is housing product always wins. It's going to win with the way the economy and the market's changing. It is just continuing to win and win and win. But it's getting more and more expensive to start, and it's getting riskier and riskier, especially with people that don't understand how to find, again, I'm going to use the term winning product. I hate that term because most people that use it don't really know how to find successful products. But to find a successful product is very hard to do, and it takes time. So until you're confident in that skill, dropshipping is probably the answer because you get immediate feedback on what doesn't work. It just costs you money up front as well. So although I don't have a concrete answer that fits everyone's specific scenario, hopefully I gave you enough information to feel empowered to get out there and do it, but also understand why you're doing what you're doing and get informed. But here is where I can add more value. Drop a comment in the video. There probably aren't a lot of views in this video. I will respond to your questions. So if you want to ask, and I will help you through an answer. I'm happy to do it. That's why I make these videos. I don't sell a course. They're not sponsored videos. I don't make any money on these videos, so I'm just happy to help. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you could do one thing, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.